Given what has happened in this country on January 6th of last year, I think they should be carefully monitored.
Trucker and Convoy co-organizer Brian Brossi explained that January 6th is being used to suppress any protest movement that aims to express their political grievances in Washington, D.C.
You know, the U.S. government's using January 6th to intimidate any protest. It's almost scary to go to D.C. to exercise your First Amendment right. It's absolutely absurd that you have to be worried about doing that now. And I think Ottawa and the Canadian government are using that trucker protest, the Freedom Convoy, to do the same exact thing for their nation, stopping their people from wanting to be able to protest in their capital cities or even at all, really.
I'm Jeremy Loffredo on assignment for Rebel News in Hagerstown, Maryland, where the U.S. Trucker Convoy has been stationed here pushing 3 weeks. On a daily basis, the convoy attempts to get into Washington, D.C., but is prohibited by Capitol Police. The truckers aim to drive into the Capitol to protest federal vaccine mandates and the National Emergency Declaration, which was originally enacted by former President Donald Trump and recently was renewed by President Joe Biden. The National Emergency Declaration effectively suspends the U.S. Constitution under the guise of COVID-19, which it deems as a national emergency crisis. Federal authorities and D.C. police have been blockading highway exits with government dump trucks, snowplows, and law enforcement vehicles. The truckers see this as an illegal violation of their constitutional rights to free speech and peaceful protest.
As we were going up 395, we ran into heavy traffic, and we sat there for over an hour in the middle of the road without moving. We couldn't figure out what was going on. We thought maybe there was an accident, but come to find out the problem was they had all the exits blocked off. So even the local traffic couldn't get to where they needed to be, and people were trying to do U-turns. They actually created a very dangerous situation for everybody. I asked them what they wanted us to do, which direction they wanted us to go, because there was a no truck route. It was only open, everything else was closed. They asked me what we wanted to do, and I told them we want to get on US 50 and we want to go west. We want to go in through town. And they said, we can't let you do that, it's closed. I said, why is it closed? Because it's closed.
When a contingent of the truckers' convoy stopped at a highway block to have a discussion with authorities regarding the targeted blockades, police threatened to arrest the truckers, giving truckers vague and conflicting reasonings.
695 is closed to the commercial vehicles.
Well, it's closed to
You're
all
going to
traffic.
have to go, well, it's closed to all traffic.
So this is
You're going to have
where are
to
you
go
taking
northbound on
directions from?
295.
For how long?
My boss is going to eventually tell
boss?
me to start arresting people.
Who's your boss? On what grounds?
Can we
I
talk
don't
on
wanna
what
do
grounds?
that.
On what grounds?
You are impeding a
Is Department of Homeland Security involved?
If your vehicle stopped right here, you're failing to obey a lawful order.
What's the
How's it
lawful order?
On what
To
grounds?
remove your vehicles from the roadway through 295 northbound.
On what grounds?
I asked several police officers enforcing the roadblocks if such blockades were legal, and at first they failed to address the question, and then I was threatened with arrest.
Excuse me.
You gotta keep moving, my man.
What's your confidence in the legality of these roadblocks?
Gotta get in the truck, my man. Get back in the truck.
What is the department's confidence in the legality? In the legality of the roadblocks?
You're on a highway, you can be arrested for blocking the highway. Right now you're blocking this truck from moving.
You're
You wanna
blocking the
be
highway.
arrested?
One officer explained that he, quote, couldn't answer if the roadblocks he was actively enforcing were legal or not.
How confident is the Metro PD in the legality of those roadblocks that are going in and out, constantly rolling?
That's one of those questions I can't answer.
If it happens again, I'm going to probably tell them that they need to do what they have to do. And we'll get a lawyer, and it's not something we want to do, but we'll let them handle it.
They're just scared of us, that's why. They don't want people to see us down there in Washington, D.C.
We've here talk about that we're designated as a threat. I don't know. I don't consider myself a threat.
Yeah. If your goal is to restore the Constitution and their goal is to keep the emergency going, then you very much are a threat.
Guess that would be the case, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Well, then in that case, yeah, we are a threat.
I believe it's because of the Emergency Powers Act that they think they can just do whatever they want to do. They don't follow the law, they don't follow the Constitution, and that's basically what we're fighting. We want the Emergency Powers Act ended, and we want our constitutional rights returned.
We've been under a soft martial law the whole time, and our Constitution has been suspended, and they just keep doing these emergencies and emergencies and emergencies after one another, and it's time for this shit to end. I mean, we're here to make it end. Mm-hmm. We're not here asking, and we're not protesting. We're here demanding that it ends, and that's it. I mean,
You're here for the long haul.
I'm here for the long haul. That's it. I mean, A lot of us are. This man right next to me, he's in it for the long haul. We're here. We want to see a peaceful transfer of power back to we the people. That's what we want to see. We're not here to hurt nobody. We don't want to hurt nobody. But we're not going to stand down. We're not going to sit down, and we're not going to shut up. That's it.
Truckers explained how Homeland Security unfairly designated the truckers as a security threat, which they argue is manufacturing consent for the suppression of their protest movement.
There was a document read today from the Department of Homeland Security where they're trying to paint a picture that doesn't exist, and they use that then to then bring in Homeland Security. Do they need to be here? No. Are they required to be here? No. Are they being brought in under a guise of there's a problem here? Yes. I think that'd be the best way to address it, but I don't think they need to be here. They're not serving any purpose. The DC police are doing the majority of the work here, and the biggest problem is going to be just the traffic problem it causes.
Some truckers explain that they have a right as a U.S. citizen to drive through their own capital, which was paid for by their tax money.
I've loved going down through the city and seeing the sights. It's really phenomenal. Cherry blossoms and everything. It's pretty, you know. I'd like to see the city. I think I have every right to be there. And, I mean, any of us guys got trucks, we pay so much money to run these trucks on the road. I think we should be allowed to use the roads. I don't see how they can, stop us from driving anywhere we need to go, If they needed a delivery, they'd like to see us down in there, wouldn't they?
In downtown Washington, I asked residents if they believe the truckers' convoy should be allowed into D.C. to protest.
I think it's interesting that a year and a half ago, we were all hailed as heroes for being essential workers. And it's interesting how fast the perception can be changed from hero to enemy or malcontent. I think they absolutely should be allowed to come in.
Not all residents believe the truckers should be allowed in their own capital.
It depends on where they were going to go. If they're going to disrupt traffic, then I don't think it's appropriate.
I think they should be allowed to come in. Everyone has the right to free speech. Whether it's supported what they believe or not, again, they have the right. And I don't think it's the right of the federal state of D.C. to limit that, regardless of the public opinion.
I probably think it's good they're keeping them out.
You think okay. And so you think because why?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
I was lucky to have retired a year ago, but many of the facilities I went into were secure facilities by the Coast Guard, in which mandated a TWIC card, a Transportation Worker Identification Credential. And but now many of these facilities require a vaccination or documentation, and it's like you're just trying to get your job done. And you can't do it without 15 people interfering with your daily life. So yeah, they definitely need a voice to be heard.
Oh, absolutely. I'm well aware they've been kept out. No, it's against our Constitution. It's a right of free speech to protest. So
they should be let in.
Yes, absolutely.
If they want to protest the vaccine mandate, then I feel like they shouldn't. I feel like they shouldn't have access to. They shouldn't be able to do that, because the vaccine is what's getting people. The vaccine is what's protecting people from COVID-19.
Some explain that the free speech argument is void because the truckers' cause isn't important enough.
I would say find a better issue and talk about that. Because free speech is an issue set aside to talk about things that are valuable and important. Vaccines, getting a vaccine is very important.
Some residents were under the false impression that the truckers were protesting masks.
Why not have masks? You save yourself, you save other people. I've never understood that. And
they're not protesting masks. It's the vaccine mandates.
The vaccine. Well, they should get the vaccine. Even more important, then they wouldn't have to wear masks. I think they should be kept out.
I do think free speech should be barred if it's actively harming something else, like a person or the country, perhaps.
I've talked to too many people who believe they shouldn't have to have a vaccine. Why? Well, they're Trumpers, by and large. Some of them say they're not, but yeah.
So if they say they're not Trumpers, you don't believe them?
It depends on the other answers they give me.
Some DC natives actually believe that the truckers were selfish and should stop protesting because there are goods to be delivered.
I think it's a waste of time to get in a truck when you could be sending like goods. Like I'm paying for it in the stores because these persons have decided that their freedom is more valuable than our community's working.
Many DC residents referenced January 6th and explained that because that protest movement went too far, the truckers should be surveilled.
Given what has happened in this country on January 6th of last year, I think they should be carefully monitored.
Trucker and Convoy co-organizer Brian Brossi explained that January 6th is being used to suppress any protest movement that aims to express their political grievances in Washington, D.C.
You know, the U.S. government's using January 6th to intimidate any protest. It's almost scary to go to D.C. to exercise your First Amendment right. It's absolutely absurd that you have to be worried about doing that now. And I think Ottawa and the Canadian government are using that trucker protest, the Freedom Convoy, to do the same exact thing for their nation, stopping their people from wanting to be able to protest in their capital cities or even at all, really. I mean, it's scary. It is literally scary now to go into D.C. to stand up for your First Amendment right. That's why we're sitting here in Hagerstown. It's because of what they did to them on January 6th. I don't want to risk the equipment or the families that are here. But, you know, at a certain point, you got to get over that fear, I guess, and just do what you need to do. It's our First Amendment right to stand side by side with each other in Washington, D.C.